Ladies and gentlemen, her. Yes, her. She's beautiful, she's powerful, and the Medusa look is strong and powerful too. Hello my loves, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chinese Kiki, and I'm super humbled to have you here with me. I'm just going to do a story time video today, and I'm super excited to share a story in the whole Halloween vibes. Okay, so I'm really excited to be here again, and I'm actually loving the progress that we're making on this channel. Like I said, I'm doing this because you guys are pushing me, motivating me by sharing my videos, subscribing, leaving a comment, leaving a like, and all in all, we're just growing together, and I'm really happy and humbled at the same time. So I'll just go straight away and start doing my makeup, and then afterwards I will also show you what I'm going to wear. First things first, I always have super oily skin. I've mentioned that before, so usually I just starting with the setting powder on my T-zone area, because this area is where I get a lot of oily lines. Tap that in. I think my skin is set for this now. Diving into the story, because I know that's what many of you are here for. So I remember I used to be a very naive young girl, just like everyone else. I think we've been on that stage before. So it was, I think I finished high school in 2011. 2013 I was actually dating a guy, and I think we had a 2-year or 3-year age gap. He was, let's just say, someone my age, you know. He used to treat me so well at the beginning, because we actually met in a very weird way. I'd even forgotten how we met, by the way. It's surprisingly, it just came into my head right now. So we met in had gone to skate with my friends. I had gone to town in Nairobi CBD, and then there was this place close to Uchumi supermarket, and then we it was so funny. So that day we went skating with my friends, because they used to love to skate on Sundays. It was on a Sunday. And then while we were skating, so there were some guys there, and then one of them seemed interested in me, and then we started chatting, we exchanged phone numbers, and then he told me, oh, we don't even live far away from each other. I was like, oh wow, that's really nice. So he said, can we hook up? And then we went on our first date. Yeah, I think it was in the same place, and then he invited me to his place. I went there, and then at that time I used to live in Rongai, which is quite a distance, but I loved living in Rongai because it was easy for me to afford where I could stay there, because my rent was very cheap. So while I was there, I love doing this on my eyebrows, by the way. I had to go to my friend's place, and the reason why I went to my friend's place is because at that time I remember I had not paid my rent, and the landlord was on my nerves. Then my friend said, no, you can come stay at our place for some time as you sort yourself out, because I was working at that time, but then my salary was late and there's nothing I could do about that. So this guy, he says, come to my place, right? So I went, stayed there at his place. He said, you can even sleep over if you want. I was like, oh, you're so generous, that is nice. So I told my friends, I actually like this guy, I think I'm just going to sleep over. And then we sort of started dating, and we became like boyfriend and girlfriend. So now I'm done with the eyebrows part, so now I have to now do the foundation. I'm going to use the Fenty foundation. This is what I'm using at the moment. I usually find a Fenty foundation settles very well when you at least have a base of the setting powder if you're very oily, because I tend to have oily T-zone when I'm using Fenty, but when I'm using the NYX foundation I don't get that. So I'll just start with after now meeting this guy, and then we started dating. I was not aware of the dating life at that time, because I had only dated one guy and it didn't last for so long. It had lasted for I think 2 months or something. So this was like my first like real date, you know, where someone accepts you and they're comfortable staying with you, you know. And I felt good because I was kind of getting lonely as well. I know if you live alone, sometimes you feel lonely, and at that time I used to feel like that because most of my peers, they were still living at their parents' home, and I was out here surviving, trying to make ends meet, you know. At any cost, I didn't want to go back home. I just wanted to hustle and bustle around to just find a life for myself. So it happened like that, and then we dated for a while, and then I got jobs from that time. He was so good. He used to take me to work, and after that he would continue on with his work as well. He used to be a waiter, and he used to do some other stuff here and there, and he was so good at saving money, you know, just the African daily life back in Kenya. And then he used to work night shifts and sometimes day shifts, but then because he realized working night shifts he gets more money than during the day, he used to work at I think a hotel, a very good 5-star hotel in Nairobi. I started noticing there was a funny pattern, especially when his friends would come around on Mondays, because Mondays were his free days. And then when they come, you find like they have a code, and you know, just the guy things that men do sometimes, especially when they're younger. I started asking him like, I would love to know, like, who did you use to date? How were they? How was the relationship? I was very naive, to be honest, and he told me, oh yeah, I had an ex-girlfriend and I don't like her anymore. She's with someone else. So one time I remember I said, let me just check on his phone. Dumbest thing to do, by the way. So I checked his phone, and while I checked his phone, I found out that he was chatting with a lot of girls. I was so scared. And then well, that oh, by the way, I'm using the setting spray on the sponge just to settle the foundation. So I realized like he was chatting with a lot of girls, a lot of girls. I could not keep up. I was surprised. And then he came from work, and then I asked him like, why do you have so many girlfriends? For what? Like, why are you doing this to me? You should have told me from the very go, like, you don't want me, or you're not serious with me, you just want to play around. To be honest, I think I was dumb, because you're 20 years old, and you're like, you know, you kind of feel like you're obliged to get married and all those things, like so on and so forth. So then he told me, no, these are just girls that are looking for me, and I don't want to be with them. It went well at that time, and then I didn't find him with anything wrong for some time. So I started working, and of course as a model at that time, and also as a video vixen, and also like working promotion jobs. So in Nairobi, sometimes you work in the evening, sometimes you work during the day. Then I got like a really nice one that paid me well at that particular time. So I'm getting to work early in the morning. Sometimes I come back in the evening. Sometimes I would even mix and have at least 2 jobs at a go. So I decided to go back to my place and go get a few clothes, because I felt like there's no need of buying new clothes, and I'm still at his place, you know, let me just go to my place and get my clothes. So one time I go home, right? I go pick my clothes, and then he thought maybe I would not come back on time. So I went to my place, and then I came back earlier. It was, I think, on a Monday. I can remember that very well. And then when I came back, I find there's a lady sitting on his lap. Yes, there was a lady sitting on his lap. Then I asked him, what's happening? You know, I was so clueless. There were a lot of guys in the house as well, so I didn't know what to ask or where to even begin, you know. So I just entered. I was quiet. I sat down, looked at their chemistry, and the lady also didn't know who I was. And then when everyone else left, because those guys knew I was his girlfriend, so after some time they left, and he left with the girl as well, and he left me. Yes, I was in the house alone and everyone else left. And then when he came back, we started fighting because I asked him, who was that lady? Why was she sitting on your lap? And then he told me, that's nothing, like she's just a friend. She's just a friend. But then I told him, he looks like your ex, like the ex that you told me about. She looks so similar to her. And then he brushed it off and I never asked about her again. And then we continued and we stayed together, and I still had my place all this time. I'm still having my place. I've not removed anything from my place. He's still also helping me pay the rent to my place. He was that nice. So he moved on, I moved on from that story, and we started becoming very happy. And 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, during that same month, I wake up one morning and then I find the lady is outside the gate with him. And then I'm like, what's happening? Then the lady starts shouting at me, and then she's telling me, you know what, leave my boyfriend alone. I'm pregnant for him. He's told me to remove the baby, and I just want to be with him, blah blah blah. I still live with my parents. And then I'm like, what kind of mess is this I've put myself into? Then I just realized, oh, she's just an ex that maybe he doesn't want to move on from the story he was telling me. So I I left him. I left them there. They can quarrel, they can do whatever they want to do. And then I thought that was the only person he was probably cheating me with. Guys, it was not true. So one time I decided again, you know what, let me just check his phone again. Then a neighbor called me. There's a neighbor that called me, and then that neighbor told me, you know what, you're so young, you're very very young, and I feel like you're just wasting your life over this guy. It's really not worth it at all. You should just, you know, just get out of here, start your life, and just create better things for yourself. You're a very very young lady, and this guy's cheating on you. Actually, every day when you go to work, he's always with different girls here. Even one of your friends comes to his place when you're not there. I was like, no way, no way, this is just a jealous neighbor. So one time, that ex-boyfriend of mine, he left, and he left his phone because he had actually, I think, crashed his phone or something. I can't remember the story very well, but then his phone was left in the house, and then I recovered the messages and everything. And then I saw, yeah, he was really cheating on me. The first thing I did is I ran to the neighbor and I started crying and asking myself, oh my God, it's really true. What you told me is the truth. He's cheating on me with so many people, and I'm so stupid for not believing you. So she said, yeah, you know, you just talk to him, but I don't know. He's just cheating on you. Just make sure you're not pregnant. And remember, all this time, this ex-boyfriend of mine is telling me, like, you need to get pregnant for me. And then something told me, no, I should never do that. And I remember, like, every month when I would get my monthly periods, he would get so angry and be like, why are you not getting pregnant? Why are you not getting pregnant? Because his peers were getting pregnant. I'm like, we're even in our 20s. Why do we want a kid right now? So I was so smart. I used to go to like a chemist, and then I go buy some pills for taking every month and hide them under the bed, and then I would just take them, and he would wait for me to get pregnant, and I would never get pregnant, and I would never tell him like like I'm using anything. So he kept on getting disappointed, and all this time he was also saving money. And you know, one time he left the house and he went to work, and I went to work as well, and by the time I came back home, someone had entered the house, stole all the money, stole almost everything. The only thing that was left there was furniture and the pillows, and they left with all the money, and I suspect it was his friends. They left with all the money, they left with the TV, the radio, everything was gone. And I hoped he learned his lesson from that time, because he had too many friends. But anyways, he didn't. So this is the juicy part. The juicy part is coming. So he used to be really good, like I'm saying. He would sometimes, you know, he would do me wrong, and he would go get me clothes, he would get me shoes. Like I remember there was this one time he came home, and then he came back with like 10 pairs of shoes. 10 pairs of shoes. And then he told me, you know what, the shoes that fit you, take them, and the shoes that don't fit you, give them back to me, and then I will know what to do with them. So I took the shoes that fit me and the clothes that fit me, and I left, right? So it really felt not good at that point, because I knew he had a cheating pattern, and he would just blackmail me and just make me forget all the things he's done to me. And my friends were telling me, Kiki, you really need to leave, because this is not a good way of living. It's really not good for yourself. It's not good for anyone. You just need to do something about it, right? And then I would be like, oh my God, maybe my friends are feeling jealous because they know nothing about all of this. And he just decided, like, you know, you just do what you want to do, you know. So one time, now, he used to pay for my hair, by the way. You know, this is one thing I really appreciate about our culture, let me say the African culture, because most of the time a man is a provider. He's really, a man is always a provider. I think it's also something that I love about our culture, and it's also something that I love that majority of the men I've met in my life, whether they're black or white or whatever, they always understand it. And I think even in the Bible, like, men are just born to be providers. So this ex-boyfriend of mine was a very good provider, by the way. No matter how much money I would get, he would still settle my bills. And it's not like we were doing well in life, but he would try. He would do his part. He really, really did his part. So I remember this one time, he gave me money to go do my hair. So I used to do my hair in Umoja. Umoja is an area where people do their hair, their nails, double price. So I went to do my hair in Umoja, and there was this lady who used to do like very good bob cuts for me, and I would look so good, and the hair would actually take me like a lot of weeks without getting bad, so messy. So I went there to Umoja, did my hair, and then it was also again his off day, if I'm not wrong. And then I went there, did my hair, and then I was supposed to go back to my place that day so that I can go pick up my clothes, pick up my stuff, because the other day I was going to work somewhere else. And you know, with those jobs that I used to do, this week you're in this city, next week you're in the other city, so there was really no consistency that you could say, you know. But anyway, I loved the money, so I wouldn't complain at all. So even though they wouldn't pay us on time, that didn't matter at all. So one time I decided, you know what, let me just stick to these jobs because they're paying me and there's nothing else I can do at that time. They were even paying better than office jobs. That's the sad reality. So I went, did my hair. My hair was done very late, by the way. It was like, I think at like 8 p.m. is when I was leaving Umoja. And then, oh, on me, when I'm going to like take a bus now to head to where I used to live, I go to dip in my pockets in the bag, and then I see I don't have the keys to my place. So because I don't have the keys to my place, I'm like, you know what, now let me go home, you know, like let me go to my boyfriend's place because I have no keys, you know. If you don't have keys, so you go home so that I can go. Maybe the next day I leave very, very early in the morning. So I didn't tell him that I'm going home because I didn't have my keys, because I knew, why would I tell him that, you know, like let me just go home. Home is home, you know, right? Like we always live almost together. So I go home, and then I decide, like, okay, I'm on the stage where, like at the bus station, I'm like, you know what, let me call him now and tell him I'm coming home, just in case he's also there, then he's not like shocked I'm at home. So this part is so funny. I now decide to like to make it quicker, let me just take a motorbike because it's easier. It's the means of transport that most of us prefer when we're back at home. even though sometimes it can get dangerous, you know, because many people don't even take care of themselves when they're doing all that. So on this particular day, I go on very well, and then I tell him, I'm here. Surprise, surprise, surprise. You know what happened? I get in the house, I get at home, right, in the building, and then I'm like, we live on the 1st floor. Then I'm like, why are the lights on? I thought he told me he's not at home. Then I'm like, probably he's just messing with me. Let me just get inside. Shock on me. So this is me. This is his friend here. And he's trying to, like, you know, like distract me. He's like, oh, nice hair. Then I'm like, yeah, as I'm heading home. And then something shocking really happened. He decided to leave. And then while I opened the door, guess who I find in the house? Guess who I find in the house? I find another lady. A lady that I don't even know. Someone that I don't even know. She's seated right there. She's seated on the sofa. And then, shockingly, she's like, Kiki. But my real names, like official names. I'm like, yes. I'm like, then she's like, oh, are you, which name should we give to this ex-boyfriend of mine? I think we should name him Mr. B. So I get in there, and then she calls me, like, she tells me like, oh, is Mr. B your brother? Because we kind of looked alike. Many people told us that when we were dating as well. So she's like, is he your brother? I'm like, yeah, he's my brother. She says, for real? He's your brother? I'm like, yeah, he's my brother. So I cooked dinner, and at that time, my ex knows he's done me wrong. His friend comes to like try and maybe get the lady out of there, but she doesn't quite understand what's happening because I've told her I'm the sister to that guy. So I start also removing laundry outside from the line, start ironing. She gives me a lot of stories, and then she tells me, you used to be the dining hall captain back in high school, and that's how I know you. I was like, I was surprised, how comes you know all my names? And then it was like past midnight, because we stayed on, we even watched a movie. And then when it was past midnight, my ex came home. And then the disrespect. He enters the house. I cooked pasta that day, so I warmed the pasta from the microwave. I give it to him. After giving the food to him, I ask him, you should now tell me who this person is. He's like, by now you guys know each other, so you either stay or leave. Drama. Sorry for that young lady. She was not even like really young, but like 2 years apart, I think. She left. I tried to leave. Stupid again. He says sorry. I accept it. I never learn. I was like, I'm just so done with this guy. But I was never done. I went back to him. I love this guy. There's nothing I can do. Maybe I just try and settle down with him. And then, bam. I decided, now, this time, I'm really leaving him. I decide, okay. And then I start seeing this other guy comes to my workplace. We go for lunch. It was good moments, by the way. I can't say they were bad moments. And then I realized, no, I'm not ready for dating this other guy. Let me just go back to my old guy. I like him. He's the one that I love. He's the one that I like. I go back at his place. He apologized. I apologized for nothing. Continued down with the same pattern until one time I decided, you know what, enough is enough. This is not part of my life. This is not me. I want the best. That's when I sat down and I started going out with friends again. Then I met another guy and we started dating. And because you're used to these kind of patterns, I was like, let me try and date someone older now. So I meet this Kenyan guy. We start dating. It kicks off very well. Becomes very good at the beginning. And then at some point, this other Kenyan guy, we date. So one time after he tells me like I stopped working, and I want you guys to see like there's this repetition of habit that once you settle down in some habits, you kind of get used to it. So he tells me, you need to stop working. I stop working. I stay at home. One time, he lied to me that he has paid my rent. And then I go back to my place. I had moved now from Rongai. Now I went to Thika Road. So I go to that place, my place. And then the landlord is like, you know what? I'm going to add another padlock to your door because you've not paid rent. This is now the second month and you've been lying to me. And then you know what I told the landlord? My rent has been paid. Okay? My rent has been paid. And he's like, stop messing with me. I'm like, my dear, the rent has been paid. I don't even know why you're making a mess out of all of this. He's like, I'm gonna kick you out. Anyways, I had not gone to stay at my place. Actually, that day, I had just gone to pick some clothes and go back to my boyfriend at that time. So while I go at his place, while I'm at his place, I decided to go there with my girlfriend because I had this friend who had visited me and I liked her. She was so good. We had good times, good moments together, and we had the same type of dreams. So I told her, you know what, let's go for a sleepover at my boyfriend's place. And he's coming to pick us over anyway. So he took so long to come pick us up. And then there was this lady that I had become friends with in that building where my ex used to live. And then that lady told me, your ex just left with another lady. I'm like, no way. She's like, yeah, I just saw him with another lady. She slept there. She woke up in the morning and she left. And then I remembered, before I left at this boyfriend's place, I had seen on the dustbin there was some used pads, and I don't use pads. Then I asked him, who does this belong to? He's like, the woman who cleans the house. I'm like, okay, really now? Really? He's like, okay, yes. Then I'm like, I buy it. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. One time, I find there's the woman who cleans the house and the clothing. I find these like big trousers and big bras and big dresses. I'm like, these are not ours. Then he's like, those are not our clothes. He literally takes the clothes and throws them on the window. I'm like, okay, still not our clothes, still not our blah, blah, blah. I'm kind of buying the story, you know. So this time he took really long to come pick us up. And it was getting dark and there was no way I was going to Mombasa Road at night, taking a matatu, a bus. So anyways, we wait for him. He comes very late. And then early in the morning, I remember that early in the morning when he went to shower, he left his phone on the table. And then I checked, just something told me, check his phone. While I'm checking his phone, I see there's a picture of him holding a small child. I'm like, holy moly. He's holding a child. Whose child is that? And the picture was taken yesterday. I'm like, hey, I just saw a picture on your phone, you're holding a baby. He's like, yeah, that's my friend's child. I'm like, okay, makes sense, right? I leave it at that. So now I decide, okay, if that's what you want to do, it's fine. If that's your friend's baby, it's fine. Have nothing to do with it. So now my landlord calls me, Kiki, you either pay your rent or you get out of here. I'm like, you know what? You're not going to stress me. My boyfriend paid the rent for me. Okay? He's like, I'm giving you 24 hours. If my rent is not here, I'm really getting you out of this building. So this time I decide I'm not going to be the good girl to my boyfriend at that time. I will be a bad one. I'm so tired. He's probably lying to me. And he's been not himself for a while. There's been some funny behaviors from him, but I didn't know how to question them. So my friend is still there. My friend is still there. She came to visit us. So he comes back that day from work. And then after having dinner, I'm like, you know what? You need to tell me the truth. Have you paid my rent or not? Have you paid my rent or not? Is my rent paid? I need an answer right now and then. Guess what this son of a man did? Guess what he did? He slapped me. He slapped me in front of my friend. And you know when a man slaps you, it hits in the brain. Huh? Biggest slap of my life. I got it. Using a bronzer. Here. Highlighter. It's a highlighter bronzer. So he slaps me and there's nothing I can do. It was like horror. It was like, my friend was confused, I'm confused. I'm like, you know what, now I'm done with this man. Now I have a reason to live. Like, I can't live like this. Then something told me, you know what, Kiki, you don't deserve this guy. So the whole night, he comes, he tries to calm me down. He's like, I'm so sorry, I never expected this to happen. It was never meant to go that far. Please forgive me, please forgive me, please forgive me. I'm like, you better act right so that my rent is paid. Otherwise, I have no job, I have no money. Where do I even begin with? I better play it cool. You know, by the way, I forgot this part. When he slapped me, he kicked us out of the house. He told us to get out, me and my friend. We didn't have anywhere to go at that time. It was very late. It was like at 1 a.m. He said, get out of my house. Get out of my house. I'm like, okay, we will go, but we have no money for taxi. So we decided to stay there anyways, and we slept over at his place because I had nowhere to go. He told me sorry. He told me sorry the whole night, and I forgave him. In the morning he woke up and he gave me a check. So when he gave me a check, I took the check now to the landlord back at my place that day, and we decided, me and my friend, to even sleep over there. And then the landlord woke up early in the morning, took the check to the bank. It bounced. The check bounced. So you slap me, you give me a check without money, and then now the landlord is like even double angry because he has to pay the fees for a bouncing check. I was like, man, I'm just so tired. That is the day I decided I'm now going to take online dating serious. And that is the day I decided I'm never going to settle for less. That is the day I sat down and told myself I'm not going to listen to anyone telling me to sit back at home and like do nothing. So I decide now I will be at your place. That's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. but I'm not going to treat you right. In fact, I'm just going to be your karma. Place. And when I left his place, I left him too. And he came back crawling to where I used to live. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I met a new guy. I got engaged. And when I got engaged, he came back returning my clothes, my stuff to my place. And he was like, can you just give me another chance? Just give me another chance. Little did I know, this son of a man, he had a child with another woman. And the baby he was holding on the picture was in fact his child. And he bare this child when we were in a relationship. No wonder his finances were not making sense. No wonder the relationship was not making sense. And I'm just so happy right now. I made choices, and those choices are reflecting right now because I'm happy I am where I am right now. I decided to double date us. So I was told by the neighbors, I used to like come to his place like today when I leave, like let's say the day after tomorrow or tomorrow, another woman would come back, and that woman was the woman who got pregnant for him. And he has a family now with that woman. And I think they're doing fine, and that's okay. We were just not meant for each other. And I don't feel any regrets. I don't feel anything about whatever happened because it's a learning process for me. I was young, I was naive. I took patterns for granted. I took things for granted. People who are older than me, they tried to mold me and they tried to protect me and tell me the truth, but I never wanted to listen to them at that time because I felt, you know, maybe they're jealous, maybe they don't want the best for me, but that's how it always happens. So I'm just going to try and look for lipstick that I'm going to wear. I don't know whether, maybe I should wear this purple. Maybe I should show you my dress and then we see if this lipstick is going to fit, and then we also do the hair and take a few pictures for Halloween. I know. So I just love reflecting on things that happen in the world. I saw actually girls doing like an eyeliner like that. Maybe we should try. Like, oh my God, I'm so scared. And then what's that? It's not bad actually. I have this lipstick. I already put a little bit of it here. It's from NYX and it's a soft matte and it's very, very dark. Maybe we should do this. It will be more Halloween style. Just set it on top. So my outfit is inspired, or my outfit is going to be a look from snakes. Yes, I think in my life I have faced a lot of snake situation, and so I said this year I have to do that. It's my first Halloween look, my first Halloween everything, and my first Halloween look has to come from there. So I got this head accessory from Shein. Very good. It's an anaconda moment. So I have this is going to be on my head. Ooh, I love this. I love, 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 love. Do you see how these snakes are crawling? Have you ever faced situations where you ask yourself, like, did I escape all these snakes, all these moments? Yes, that's what we're going to get today. And then I'm going to get this snake dress as well, and then we'll take some pictures, a video, and we will try and scare and push them away. So let's get started. So a little bit of setting spray. As much as you can. Ladies and gentlemen, so you know what I realized? I think I should try and make the eyes really dark, because I think Medusa is kind of inspired by dark stories, dark spirits, dark souls, and I think this is bringing more difference. So let's go ahead and do this liner. So my loves, I've kind of settled with this look and I'm really happy with it. So I just want to say I hope my story has inspired you one way or another, and I think us as women should not settle for less. And I wish you happy Halloween, and I hope to see you on the next video. And see you, my loves. Mwah. Time to take some photos, some videos, and a few reels for the Instagram. See ya.